Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit Thursday night pregame, but we got a whole slate of Saturday games we're going to go through for you today, too.
Yeah, got a crazy amount of stuff to run through this evening. This show is normally we look back and then we look slowly forward to one game, whereas this week, because of Christmas Eve and everything coming up as well, and guys, we actually have families. Like imagine that. We've got
God,
we won't be able
yeah.
to do the usual pre-game show on the Saturday. So yeah,
Yeah,
running
my
through.
wife decided this year it's Christmas Eve instead of Christmas. And like I said, I like being married. So I just
Yeah.
listened. And I got a good wife who doesn't bully me. So I'm good.
Yeah. In Latvia, they actually do most of the Christmas Eve stuff on Christmas. Most of the Christmas Day stuff on Christmas Eve. So Cynthia does it that way around. So I get like 2 Christmas days. It's
I don't
awesome.
know if this is an Italian thing or just my Italian family growing up, but we always did Christmas Eve too.
I think in Europe, like Christmas Eve is a much bigger thing than like the food is always on Christmas Eve, all of this, all of that. So you're not actually like doing loads of and you can go do the actual religious side of things on Christmas Day. I think it's the
Well, we
idea.
used to go to mass on Christmas Eve and then come home and it'd be about 4 o'clock. Eat,
Hmm.
a bunch of people would come over. We'd do the family exchange, and then
Oh, that's
you
cool.
go to bed, wake up, and then Santa came, and then it was
Oh,
over
that's cool.
by noon.
Yeah, that's awesome. We do like yeah, in Latvia they do like a bit of present giving and then they have like their big meal and everything like that. So uh next Christmas is in Latvia. I've promised this time.
So off base question, but it made me think of it. So you've been in China, you've lived in China. Do you know if this is true? I
Mhm.
once read Chinese people on their birthday do not get gifts from others. They give gifts to the people who mean most to them.
Yeah, I think it's now more of a like they get gifts and they give gifts. Like it's gifts of gratitude that they give
Okay. I always
to
thought that was
family
a
members.
better idea. The people who are close to you, buy them a little something. Hey, I thought of you. You're awesome. And then you don't have to worry about 62 birthdays a year.
Yeah, yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, but they give away like they give away little tokens of appreciation. But I think now like they also have the westernized side of it as well, especially if you're from the urban areas or a more wealthy family and things like
And I
that.
have to put you on the spot because you're a resident footy guy.
Okay.
So enlighten all of us Americans who are very confused. I get the trophy thing with the Argentinian goalie. I get that,
Yep.
right? Where he held it and that was
Oh,
bad.
right. Okay.
Why are they mad at him and saying he cheated because he grabbed the ball and threw it that way in penalty kicks?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They're saying it was cheating because it threw off the next kicker or something because he threw the
Oh
ball sideways instead of back or
yeah, like basically the French are butthurt that they lost, so they're
okay.
thinking of other ways. And what's happening is you're not meant to distract the process. You're not meant to like take away from the processes of the penalty kick taker, but that's bullshit because people have been doing it for ages, like dancing in the middle of the goal, trying to put people off and all of that kind of thing. Like you're
And
not meant to affect the processes, but it's just
and
bullshit.
I just think if throwing the ball throws the guy off, then he probably wasn't the guy you should have had in there for the penalty
Exactly.
kicks. And it was just weird. I didn't know if this was a thing in footy that like people are like, you don't do this. So I guess not. It's just some upset people making what to do about nothing, kind of.
Yeah, basically. And like
Okay.
that may put off the average person, but as you say, if it's putting you off, then you shouldn't be taking a penalty in the World Cup, you know? Like that's that's the top and tail of it.
Nope, that's fair. All right. Let's start with our games though, because we got a bunch to run through. Jags versus the Jets. The Jets somehow are favored 2.5 at home tonight, which I have no idea how that's even a thing because you can give me the Jags in the money line.
Yeah. The Jags just put up 40 points against the Cowboys, which have one of the best defenses in the league. They were running at 7.2 yards a play. 7.2 yards a play the Jags offense had. Now, I do think a lot of that is to do with the Cowboys just that was a down day. Like, it was a really shitty game for them. But also, Trevor Lawrence has arrived. Trevor Lawrence is here, and this team has a great pass blocking offensive line. Their pass blocking is great. They have a guy in the backfield who can take over games, where even though their run blocking is not good, but their pass blocking is great. And Travis Etienne went for 100 yards anyway, against a team that have one of the better defensive lines in football. So he should be applauded for that. He should be applauded for that as well. I don't understand where the Jets are getting any favoritism in this whatsoever. Their quarterback situation, like, who knows, is all pretty crazy, all pretty up in the air. I'm taking the Jags every day of the week in this one.
Yeah, and the weird thing to me is, you and I have been saying it on this show for a long time. The Jags are coming next year. The Jags are coming next year. They're just getting there a little sooner at the end of this year than we. But you and I both saw this coming with the talent, with the coaching staff, with what they had there. So, like, I agree with you that the Cowboys shit the bed. But the fact that anybody in their right mind thinks that the Jets should be favored in this game, especially with Zach Wilson playing, and everything I hear about Zach Wilson, it has nothing to do with his talent. It's that he's super immature and really about me.
Yeah, the two things that you need to make a great football team in place is the head coach and the quarterback. And the Jags have both. And the Jets have one. The Jets have a great head coach in Robert Saleh. They're unfortunately back in a place where they need to find a quarterback. Do I think this is it for Zach Wilson? No, probably not. I think he deserves a chance somewhere else, but because he's shown glimpses of that talent, but not for the New York. It won't be in New York. It shouldn't be for the Jets. Yeah, the Jets just lost by 3 points to the Detroit Lions, and I know the Detroit Lions are one of the hottest teams in football, but the Jags just beat the Dallas Cowboys, who I still believe the Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender. The Cowboys should have won that game. A lot of shit is happening against Dak right now, saying, oh, Dak's interceptions are horrible. He threw it right into the chest of Noah Brown. Like, Noah Brown has to catch that ball, not deflect it on. But so they were that. I guess the Jags were that away from losing the game, and the Cowboys just genuinely shitting the bed. But there's no way it should be the Jets a favorite at home. Like, if you want something, then maybe make the Jags favored by 1 away. So then it's evens, but still, I can't see anything else than a Jags win. Now, the Jets' defense is absolutely awesome. It's great, but compared to the Cowboys last week where they put up 40, like, it just shouldn't. I don't see how the betting line is that close. I see how the Jets win. I just don't see how the betting line is that close.
Would you feel differently if Mike White was playing? Would you feel differently at all?
No. I don't see it as. I see the Jags just scoring points, and I don't think it's a case for, if the Jets offense is this, like, Mike White is eventually going to shit the bed as well. Like, that will happen. There's a reason it happens. It happens every time.
Not, but you're probably right. But I hope not. I like watching him play. I like those gritty quarterbacks.
Yeah, I always hope not. But there's a reason that these gritty quarterbacks are often backups. Like, a lot of the time, like, Geno Smith has fallen off. Not a lot. Like, I'm not saying he's going to fall off a cliff. Like, he still deserves to be the starting QB. But Trevor Lawrence is playing so well right now. Like, he might be one of the most understated players in the game, considering he was meant to be Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning the first year. And then in this second year, he's actually taken off, proving a lot of people right, and nobody's talking about him.
You do that. What I love about Mike White, he's so tough. He went to literally 10 different doctors to try to get cleared to play.
Yeah, it's tough and also dumb.
It is, but you're 27 years old or whatever. You want a starting job in the NFL. You might feel like this is your only shot to get one, so you're going to sell out for it. I get it. And there's a lot of shit I'd have done in my 20s that I would not do now.
Yeah, and he's like Like 27, like this is his opportunity, realistically. Like with the guys who are coming out in the draft.
He literally could have 10 years left because of the way guys are playing later, and he didn't get beat up for the first 4 years of his career.
Yeah. I don't know whether he'd have 10 years left when he breaks his rib, he's trying to play no matter what.
No, that's my point.
Thing,
he just calmed down. He could have 10 years left. Yeah. But I get it. I completely get it. The kid wants a shot.
Yeah, 100%. I love Mike White, and I think he's doing great things. And when he came in, I think they came off him a little quickly last year because of Zach Wilson's draft. They came off him because he had 1 or 2 bad games after having 3 or 4 great games. So this year, just give him the run. But unfortunately, he's now injured because of the way he plays. It's like Taylor Heineke. I don't understand how Taylor Heineke isn't injured like more of the time. Because the way that they play is we don't have these physical attributes. So we've got to stay in the pocket longer. We've got to take the hits harder. They have that mentality. And it's like, or you don't and you won't be injured. But I just don't understand how he's trying to play.
Let's talk some Giants, Vikings, a game that makes me really nervous because it's one of those games I believe the Vikings should win, but the emotional toll, the physical toll, guys were cramping at the end of that game. Like, I feel like it's one of those games that I don't know if it's hard to get back focused and like your body back right. And then we're still with a backup center, which I never thought I'd worry about Garrett Bradbury being out, but Pro Bowler Garrett Bradbury is out again because he tweaked his back in a car accident. Of course, that's the most Viking shit ever. But I have liked their backup linemen this year, which is odd because, yes, we got pounded in a couple games, but the fact is our line has been so atrocious. And the fact that you watch that Dalvin Cook run, Ezra Cleveland's running down the sideline with him. Like Ezra Cleveland actually got in his way. He was so far down the field with him. I like the toughness. I like what the never quit attitude. Coming off that biggest comeback in NFL history, I think it might be a little rough, but can we put some respect with a K, some respect on Pro Bowler Kirk Cousins' name right now? 485 yards and 6 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Or 885 yards, 6 touchdowns last 2 games.
Yeah. He comes up with these crazy stat lines and people give him nothing.
8 comeback victories this year.
Yeah, people give him nothing for these crazy stat lines that he comes up with. And there's other quarterbacks where it's like stat lines. It's the same with Dak Prescott a lot of the way. Like these two guys are very, very similar in the ways that they're compared and the ways that they maybe not too similar in the ways that they play entirely, but
do you think great it's team around 4th round picks?
Yeah, like could be. I think it's just they have great teams around them, so therefore, like can't be told like they're not allowed to play well because they have great teams around them. Like it's crazy to me.
Well, I know Dak, and we'll get to it when we get to your game, but that poor guy's getting beat up for an interception that had nothing to do with him.
2 interceptions that had nothing to do with it. If you watch the first one,
yeah, but I'm talking the game-ending pick.
Noah Brown.
Like, yeah, that's. But we'll get to that. But okay,
yeah, I'm gonna take the Vikings in this one. The Giants are going down. Like the Giants, they started so high. We're seeing where the Giants' actual talent level is right now. Like this is the Giants team where they're at the last 2-3 games.
They've been winning because of coaching and Saquon Barkley.
Yes. And you just come across teams where that's not going to get across the line. They had an easy schedule to start.
So the Giants right now are in the playoffs, right? What do they have? 8 wins? I don't have it in front of me. I think they have 8 wins, but whatever.
I can't believe that they have that many wins.
3rd worst defense in the NFL. 6th worst offense in the NFL. 8 wins and are in the playoffs.
I said it from the jump. Like I said how fraudulent they were like from the get-go. I was like, this team has... It was watching them play against the Dallas Cowboys. I think it was like the 4th game of the year. And I was like, right, this is what they look like against the team who can actually play football. They just seem to be playing team. Like they started off by playing the Titans, who were just in absolute disarray. And I don't want to discredit what they did, because Vrabel's coaching was amazing. Like they've done a great job. They've set themselves up for the future by being better prepared. But now, like, what's going to happen is they're going to get to the playoffs and they're probably going to get smoked by whoever they play by about 20 points. Or they're not going to make it to the playoffs because the Seahawks and the Lions
are coming up all a favor and they upset the 49ers. Just saying.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that.
I'm just saying, if we got to wish for something,
yeah,
I'd rather play the Giants than the 49ers.
Yeah, I think everybody would rather play anybody else than the 49ers right now. But well, yeah,
I got one last thing to say on this Vikings team, and this goes out to a member of PFF, and I won't mention Sam Munson's name. So Pro Bowler TJ Hawkinson was a wash, and he wasn't worth trading for. All right, whatever. Pro Bowler TJ Hawkinson.
If you listen to the podcast after that argument,
I did after Twitter, you told me to. So yeah. I went back and even commented again for what he said.
He like goes back on what he was saying on Twitter. Like he says the opposite to what he was saying on Twitter basically that entire time. But yeah,
and the fact he personally came at me is why I'm saying it. It wasn't just a random thing. He machine gunned me in the Twitter sphere like I was an idiot.
Yeah, he's a great acquisition, and we said he was a great acquisition at the time. Like it makes a lot of sense. That team,
Smith coming back, or Smith going to be back by the end of the year? They were just saying going into the playoffs, 2 tight end sets. We can do a lot more, and then Irv's out at the end of the year. So get you a ring, Irv, and then hit the road.
Yeah, and like this Vikings team on paper is one of the best teams in the league, and if your defense can toughen up in certain areas, and I think a lot of it is more based on scheme.
I went back and watched that Colts game after I wasn't in my feelings because I wanted to see how our defense was playing.
Mm-hmm.
The second half, when they shut them down, we played man almost the whole fucking half instead of zone, which we've been playing the whole year. So maybe something clicked in our defensive coordinator's head at Donatel and was like, I got 3-man corners on this team and I keep trying to get them to play fucking off coverage.
Look at you, man. It's like you've been saying it like all fucking year. NFL analyst Jay has been saying this like since the jump. Day one, it was Vikings need to play more man. Vikings need to play more man. Honestly.
Well, you got Patrick Peterson, who's a Hall of Fame man, press corner. Cameron Dantzler came up under Zimmer, who was a press corner. And then you got Chandler, who played on the Packers, and guess what he did when he played in the slot? Press man to man. Like, I just don't get, like, this whole idea of, like, why are we trying – you and I always talk, quit trying to fit your guys to your system, fit your system to your guys.
Yeah, like, you've got the guys that you've got. You can fit the guys to the system over a long period of time. Like, when Belichick's been able to do that in New England, now it's falling apart, but he's able to do that in New England. But when you're first starting off,
this is exactly what the Cowboys are doing.
Yeah.
They see their fucking potential. And if you watch the Cowboys, they sometimes play a man zone where their 2 outside corners are playing man and everybody else, the safeties and the linebackers, are playing zone. And why would they do that? Oh, maybe because every zone play turns into a man on man anyway at some point, because you got to get the guy in front of you. And your corners are really good at press man coverage. Maybe that's it.
One corner's really good at press man coverage. Calvin Joseph is the worst corner in the league.
Make up for their mistakes, though. And you know what I mean? Like, Dion wasn't the greatest cover guy. He just was so fast he could make up any mistake.
Yeah, I think there is an element of, like, just make it more simple. Like, if your defense is playing bad, then just make it simple. Like, just say, that's your fucking dude. Like, do not let him go. Like,
and then just disguise the coverage.
Yeah.
Just line up in a different position, but you can run basic shit as long as you disguise it.
Do you know what? That's been happening a lot this year, by the way. Like, we've said stuff at the start of the year that's starting to come true. More than other years when we've done this. Like, we've got a little bit more stuff that's actually coming true. It's awesome.
They're secretly watching us, Maddie. That's why.
Yeah, then that's got to be it. That's got to be it. You know, these views where it's like 1 or 2 people viewing, they're actually the head coach of the It's actually Kevin O'Connell.
Hey,
Like
Ed
that's in there right
Donatel
now.
seen me go in on him a couple weeks ago on Skull News, I guess, because
That's got to be it.
That's
That
got to be
has
it. I
to be
went
it.
in on it.
There's no other logical explanation for an NFL coach
And
to
Ed Donatel
start
was like,
coaching
"Well,
properly.
bro, if the Yankees saying it, then we got to do it."
Or it's like, hey man, if these two guys are noticing it, maybe we should be noticing it. I think that's more.
That's a good fucking point.
That's maybe more
Hey,
like
way to pull
if,
my ego back.
it's like if these two idiots are able to tell that they can do this, then fuck me. What am I doing? You know? All right. Let's get coaching our own NFL team.
Yeah, and we'll move on to the
up.
Saints Browns. But all I'll tell Vikings fans is if I'd have told you at the beginning of the year we'd be 11-3 with the NFC North title, you'd be happy. So calm the fuck down.
If you told Vikings fans at the start of the year they were 10-7 with the NFL North trophy, like I don't understand Vikings fans hating on their team. I get where other people are coming from, being like they're underrated, they're overrated, their records a lie, and that kind of shit. I'm like, okay, awful take, but I get where you're coming from. But Vikings fans,
Kirk hate, I don't understand by Vikings fans still.
Yeah, I don't understand the Dak hate from Cowboys fans either.
Just do this, Manny. This is what I do to end every argument about Kirk, and you can do it too. Okay, 2 questions. Who would you replace him with? ? And name 10 quarterbacks playing better right now in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. It's a question of situation, and I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, we can't win a Super Bowl with an average quarterback." One, Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott are above average. Like they just are. There's no metric where you can say that Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott are the like a below average quarterbacks. What have you got?
16, and 17 makes you average if you're the best 15, 16, or 17 by the numbers, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't have either of them lower than 50. Like if we sat and wrote it down now,
right now they're both top 10 right now with the way they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. So so you sit there and you just go like, come on. Like, so 1, you've got that, and 2, Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl. Like, so you can win with an average quarterback. That does happen. Yeah, like it does happen. It's not out
Nick Foles.
Yeah, exactly. Like Carson Wentz probably would have been able to win a Super Bowl with that.
He just thrown an interception that killed him.
It's probably
he'd have dropped that touchdown in the end zone on the when Foles caught that touchdown.
Yeah, but fucking like early years Tom Brady, like Tom Brady got better with age. Like let's put that out there. 6th round draft pick Tom Brady was like probably an average quarterback when he first started playing it, and then just got better and better and better with
his
age.
First 2 Super Bowls were a lot of the defense and him just managing the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so let's remember young Tom Brady as well. I don't understand that take. I never get it. It's like you can win a Super Bowl with them, but also you have more chance of getting to the Super Bowl. And for both of our organizations, let's just get to a fucking NFC Championship game first, shall we? Before doing all of that. And what gives us more chance? Blowing everything up to try and get a rookie quarterback where it's an absolute lottery. You can't trade for anybody better than Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. Like, what team is stupid enough to give up a quarterback that's better than Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins right now? None.
Maybe the Ravens, but we're still a couple years down the road.
Yeah, but you have to do that from the draft anyway. Like, if you're like you're gonna have to do it from the draft. So there's nobody better than Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins at that point.
So on to probably the most overrated quarterback in the NFL this year. Definitely the most overpaid. The Browns versus the Saints. And yes, I'm referring to Deshaun Watson.
I was saying, you can't be saying that about Andy Dalton. Like, Andy Dalton's had a great year.
No, Deshaun, I don't know if he might be great again, but he is so overpaid this year for what he's giving them. You know what I mean? And then he was so smart. He did the Tom Brady thing when Brady got suspended. He got that huge signing bonus and only like a $1 million salary. So he only lost like $700,000, and I know it's only, but he only lost like $700,000 out of that contract for being suspended. This game, though, I think the Saints right now are fucking in a bad spot, but just because their quarterback and they just haven't been looking good to me. Even when they win, they don't look good to me. And I trust the Browns team more than I trust the Saints team.
Yeah. They're top of their division right now, aren't they? The Saints are they all joint in their division right now?
Yeah, they're all so clustered right now. I'm not sure
because they have to. They're level with the Buccaneers. Did the Panthers win last week? No.
I'll tell you in 1 second. Yeah, because if you're looking, I'm just saying that
they're all even. The Falcons are one game behind. The Bucks, the Saints, and the Panthers are all on the same record.
Hey, give me those Saints in the playoffs.
Fuck it.
The Vikings against the Saints in the playoffs the last couple times. Hey, Minnesota Miracle overtime victory. I can handle playing I'd rather play the Saints than the fucking Bucks.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make it to they won't make it to you, right? Because we'll play them. The Cowboys have got the winners of the NFC South in the playoffs.
All right, let's go Bucks.
The Cowboys have got whoever wins the NFC South. That's who the Cowboys play in the first round of the playoffs. And I'm sorry if we can't win that, then there's no.
The Cowboys are better than the Bucks, but the Bucks are one of those teams that can upset anybody. But I would rather play the Bucks in the playoffs than the Cowboys. So I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're playing the fucking Bucks, I'm cheering for the Bucks. Like,
fair enough. Yeah, it's okay. Like if we come across if Carolina win that division. Sorry?
I got the Browns, by the way. Now you can.
Right, okay. Yeah. In that game, I just don't even care. The Deshaun Watson's rust is probably going to last at least till the end of the year, right? And then when he has a whole preseason behind him and all of that, then they'll do great. The Browns just beat the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are beat up to shit, and the Browns only scored 13 points. With their offensive talents, that's crazy to me that they can only when the Ravens have just been so badly beaten up. I'm gonna take the Saints in this one. I think the Saints I don't even know why. I can't even tell you. I'm supporting my man Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle.
I was just gonna say Andy Dalton too is why you're taking the Saints.
I fucking love Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton might be one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. That doesn't make him a great quarterback in the NFL. Just
just enjoy Andy Dalton.
Watching his games, man. Yeah. I just like watching Andy Dalton.
Well, let's talk about some more NFC North. We'll talk about the Detroit Lions going to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are 2.5-point dogs at home. Everything says that the fucking Lions should win this game. I think the pressure of having a chance to make the playoffs gets to them. Dan Campbell gets exposed as a play caller. Jared Goff turns back into a pumpkin, and Carolina wins this game by maybe a point or two.
All right. I'm taking the Detroit Lions to win this one. The Detroit Lions are a really good football
team. This year is what the Browns were for me last year. For you.
Yeah. I was big on Detroit from the start. I think I said
you were, but I was big on the Browns from the start last year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I didn't realize how big I was on Detroit from the start until I went back and looked. I went back and had a look at how we're doing in terms of predicting teams. There's a few fucking howlers in there.
For Dan Campbell against me since the beginning. So you've been riding that bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm not so happy about Dan Campbell. I think they will eventually get tired of Dan Campbell. It's just while they're winning, Dan Campbell's stuff of, man, let's do this,
What did I say? He's going to turn this franchise around somewhat, get them winning, and then get fired, and the next coach is going to have the success.
Yeah, exactly. Which, that's fine. That's what you want from Dan Campbell, right? But as long as the Lions are winning, then Dan Campbell's style of coaching works really, really well. As long as they're winning. But I'm surprised that this is only 2.5 points. I have also said that the Panthers' defense is sneaky good, quite a few times this year as well. I haven't really watched a lot of Panthers football. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know how their offense is performing, but I've seen some crazy throws to DJ Moore. That's what I've seen. That's what they've got going. So if they can get that up and running, I guess that might work out for them. But this Detroit Lions defense has started to play a lot better, and their offense is Amon-Ra St. Brown seems uncoverable at points this year. And not because he's oh my God, he's such a fucking guy. His physical talents are insane. It just feels like he's a dog, and just ends up being open, like just through sheer will over talent a lot of the time.
Yeah, he runs good routes too. Really good
Yeah,
routes.
yeah, great routes. So,
He
and I
gets
like that two-headed monster in the backfield.
he gets separation, but he's also a receiver who can catch when he's covered.
Yeah, and it feels like a guy who can come out of the backfield, like you can put him anywhere on the pitch. And Jared Goff, Jared Goff has never has always been one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Average.
Yeah, probably bang average,
15,
right?
16, 17. Yeah, average.
Jared Goff is a bang average quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with, like Jimmy G, bang average quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with. Like, do I want Jared Goff in the backfield when the offensive line is horseshit? Absolutely not. Like, I couldn't think of a worse
No, but
thing to ever do.
the Lions offensive line is
Exactly.
killing people.
Exactly. So the Lions offensive line is awesome. The 49ers, do you know what? It might be in the 49ers' best interest to call up the Lions and see if they want to get rid of Jared Goff because he's Jimmy G, but available.
They should call up any other team and see if they want to get rid of their strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. It's an organizational problem. I'm still on it. Same with the Ravens.
I believe that too. There's no way that that's a coincidence over that many years.
Yeah. No sympathy. No sympathy now. Like, it's your problem. No other team has this many injuries. But yeah, I'm going to take the Lions in this one. They'll probably just manage the game and just get out of there, I think.
Well, I'm going to make this very simple for the next game, and then you can say what you got to say. It's the Bengals versus the Patriots. The Patriots are 3-point dogs at home. The Patriots are dead, and Cincinnati wins this game by a lot.
I was really worried about what you were just about to say. I thought you were just about to pick the Patriots, and I was like,
Patriots are dead.
Yeah, that team is falling apart at the fucking seams. Like, I just don't.
Jones and Belichick hate each other. I don't care what anybody says. Watch the way they interact or don't interact on the sideline.
Yeah. And Matt Patricia, like, what the fuck? Like, it's when you go through that coaching staff, you just go, what is going on? Like, it makes no. Surely there's a Josh McDaniels disciple somewhere that they could have promoted to offensive coordinator rather than Matt fucking Patricia. Like, what's going? When you're one of the worst coaches that the Detroit Lions have ever had, then you have no business like coaching in the NFL. When the Detroit Lions have had some horrendous coaches, you're one of the worst. What are you doing? I'm going to
say it again too because it pisses me off. Why is he the only guy in the NFL who gets a pass for having a sexual assault?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%, 100%. On the other side, the Bengals are probably the best team in the AFC right now. With the way that they're playing with the hot hand. They really started to
pronounce the Bills wrong.
The Bengals, they're playing with such a hot hand right now. Their defense is solid. Now Jamar Chase is back. Their offense is opened up again. Jamar Chase it's got to be between Jamar Chase and JJ, right, for the best young wide receiver in the league. And then Devontae Adams maybe is the only other person who comes in there to take it just as the outright best wide receiver in the league. Stephon Diggs maybe as well, but Jamar Chase opens up that offense because T. Higgins and Boyd, they are great over the top, but Jamar Chase is great everywhere, so he's a horrible matchup for whoever. And him and Joe Burrow are basically have telekinesis between the two of them. I'm going to take the Bengals to smoke this one. Give me cover the spreads, the Bengals.
All right, so we're going to go to Buffalo at Chicago, and for some reason, I thought this game was in Buffalo. I think it's because I wanted it to be with the 5 feet of snow they're getting.
Yeah.
But the Bears are 8.5-point dogs at home. You know what I think about big point spreads.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the fucking Bills. I'd take the Bills by 10.
Okay. So this is effectively because it's at home, it's the Bears by 11.5, which is fucking like that seems like a lot. I'm going to take the Bears to keep it close in this one. The Bills' run defense isn't the best, and the Bears' run offense is one of the best in the league. But yeah, the Bills are going to win it. Don't get me wrong. The Bills are going to win.
The Bills are going to bring a safety down into the box.
Ask Justin Fields to throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his own coaches won't let him throw it in the red zone unless it's third down and it's a check down.
Yeah. I think the Bears are going in the right direction. They just have no ability to win big games with Justin Fields as he's playing right now as well. Like
they
Justin
should have
Fields
hired Jeff Fisher because they are going to be the epitome of 9-8 and 8-9 for the next 7 years.
Which is an improvement on what they were doing last year.
I mean, if that's what you're going for, I mean, then you got it. You nailed it. Home run.
Yeah, that's what nobody's going for. Do you know what though? They've got a guy who's going to be a fantasy god for as long as he's fit in the NFL. So I'm happy. I'm going to take Justin Fields like all the time. Just as long as we're doing this podcast, Justin Fields will be my fantasy QB as long as he like until he gets injured.
Realize you better have a pick in the top 5 next year to get him. Like he's going to be one of them dudes who come flying off the board because it's the same reason that every chance I get to get Lamar in like the 4th round, I'm like, well, let me get him real quick because. Yeah, there might be games where Lamar puts up 10, but there's games where he puts up 35.
Yeah. That trade the trade for Justin Fields has got me to this point in the fantasy playoffs. So I'll stand by him. But I traded Trey Lance for Justin Fields 2 days before Trey Lance got injured.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Was that the hit, man?
Yeah, man. Like I felt kind of bad, but also it's business. I wanted Justin Fields from the jump. Like I only took Trey Lance because I wanted Justin Fields. So,
hey, and if you guys want a challenge, play in a 14-man league. It's
horrible. It's so hard. It's so difficult. Also, Team Duffy, I'm playing you this week. I just want you to know that I was the guy who took. I noticed that I was ahead of you in the waiver wires, so I took Gardner Minshew, and I took.
I don't know if I was above him or not, but I had a claim on Minshew too.
You were one below him.
Okay.
So you were below and I was above and he was in the middle. So he's got Sam Darnold is his QB for this week with Jalen Hurts.
Well,
I just want you to know Huntley, so I've got like fucking I've got 4 quarterbacks on my team. Like just because I didn't want him getting anybody half decent.
Yeah, I got my only way to beat him. So fuck you both.
It's my only way to beat him. I'll release them all next week. It'll be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills in this one. But the Bears have every ability to keep games close. They just don't have ability to get it over the top with the way that their team is made up right now.
All right. Well, we got the Texans at the Titans. Ryan Tannehill's out. Malik Willis is in. The Titans are 3.5-point 3.5-point favorites at home. The Texans are one of those teams, man. They seem to keep games close. They play hard. I don't know what Willis will do, but I do know that Tennessee has a pretty decent defense, good running game. Yep. I think it'll be close. I think Tennessee will win, but I'm going to take the Texans and the points.
Okay. If this point spread was at like 4 or like 4.5, I'd take that. Like that's where I want it to be. Like that, it's too close. But I think this is going to be a 3-point game. Yeah, I think this will be a 3-point game. Do you know what? I'm going to take the Texans to win, but I'm going to use it with the points, not take the money line. So because Malik Willis is in there and the Titans offense hasn't been the best run thing all year, let's just put it mildly like that. With Ryan Tannehill, who's there, who's shown that he has the ability to be effective in that system. Ryan Tannehill's been there. And it's still not been a very effective offense. Now you put Malik Willis in there. And Malik Willis, I don't think really has the ability to run an NFL offense right now in terms of running it. Will he make some fucking ridiculous plays every now and again? Yes, that's going to happen. Like he's going to.
I got a suggestion because I know Vrabel's watching because Vrabel always watches. So I got a suggestion. Just run. It doesn't have to be a hurry up, but a no huddle with this kid. Don't make him think.
Yeah.
These young kids, don't make them think too much. Just let them go play football. They've been playing football since they were 5. Just let them go play football within the system, but don't make it too difficult. Don't make it too confusing. Just let them go up there, see what they're going to do, run it, and just play football.
Give him the Baker Mayfield treatment. That's the way to do it. Like, Baker Mayfield just shouldn't be given a playbook ever again. Just don't let Baker Mayfield know the plays. Yeah.
Well, poor Baker Mayfield, too. He's got such a bad offensive line in front of him right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not blaming Baker for that loss.
No, I know you're not. And I agree with what you're saying. I just had to put it out there. He comes in, wins his first game in spectacular fashion, and now he's got these weird expectations on a team with like 4 wins. You know what I mean? This poor fucking kid just goes into worse situations every time he moves.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the Texans, they've been keeping it close. And I think something that they have to ask themselves over the offseason is, was our coaching keeping it close, even though our roster wasn't necessarily there?
Keep Lovie Smith. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking.
Yeah, or is it that the coach is the reason that we weren't getting over the top? Like, that's the
I have to say, I don't believe they're ready to win right now.
Yeah, I'm on the former rather than the latter.
Why dump Lovie already? At least give him one more year, because you're not there anyway, and you need to draft a quarterback. As much as I like Davis Mills, he's another guy who he needs a bunch of talent around him to be effective, and they just don't have that.
Yeah, 100%. And Davis Mills is probably slightly below average, especially in the way that he's playing that. Like, and I don't think the way that their offense.
He's a guy I think he'd have to be on like the 49ers or the Vikings or the Cowboys, or like he needs that talent to even see if he's somebody to go forward with.
Yeah, the offense doesn't help them like at all. Like, the offense doesn't help
Pierce
them anyway.
Is out.
It's a horrible. Yeah, Pierce is out. It's a horrible team to try and evaluate any of the players on their team, because they're keeping it close, though. Like, the way that it works is just how close those games have been, but they've still got, what is it now, like 11 losses, even though the games have been ridiculously close. Like, that's crazy. What is it that they need to get over the top? I think what they may need to get over the top is Malik Willis playing quarterback rather than Ryan Tannehill. So we'll see how that game pans out.
All right. Well, let's hit a quick word from Overtime Hustling, and then we'll finish this out.
What's good? It's your homie, Freezers Christ. Y'all know the deal. Make sure y'all head on over to overtimehustling.com, where you can catch all the latest merch, all the newest mags, all the media, everything, know what I mean? And you can also find me on Winging It with the homies Keith G, King Dell, and Payne Gusto. And you can catch me on Turf Tales with the homie SK. And if you got nothing to do on Sundays, even if you do got something to do, make sure you tap in the Overtime Reactions hosted by the homie Cuzzo. And I cannot forget the homie Jay over there at the Yankee and the Brit channel. So make sure y'all go over there and check them out. And hey, check me out, your boy Freezers, on that Real Talk with Jay. It was a hell of an interview, yo. Gotta do it again. I keep saying it because I mean it. We gotta do it again. I had a great motherfucking time. But anyway, you know who it is. Freezers H, OTH, Yankee and the Brit, Winging It, Turf Tales, Overtime Reactions, Chronicles Podcast. You know the drill, Cush's Corner. It's a motherfucking movement. So move with it. Or move out the motherfucking way. Simple and plain.
Overtime hustling, we hustling overtime.
So, Maddie, this next game, I got some weird feelings on.
Okay.
It is the Seahawks at the Chiefs. Chiefs, 10-point favorites. At first, I felt like that was pretty disrespectful to the Seahawks, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, it is the Chiefs. So I went back and forth. Geno's been playing pretty good, man. Geno has shocked the shit out of me. I thought Geno was going to suck balls this year. They found a young running back. Their team's playing better than I thought they would. And they win games or are close in games that I don't think they should be winning. So give me the Seahawks plus 10, even though I think the Kansas City Chiefs win this game.
Yeah, the Seahawks are built to win in the next 2 years. Like, and obviously they're in the playoff talk right now. Do I personally think that they're gonna make the playoffs in the NFC with how close it is right now? I don't personally think so.
Would you rather play them or the Redskins?
I
I mean,
I'd
sorry,
rather-
the Commanders.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
That's okay. I'd rather play the Commanders, but only because we have such a good record against.
Okay,
our
I'd rather play the
in-division opponents.
Seahawks.
Yeah, we just have a good record against our in-division opponents, so like I'll take the Commanders in that one. But yeah, so the Seahawks have played well. They've overdone everybody's expectations. It's one of those ones where do you want to know what, do you remember what record you said the Seahawks were going to finish with this year? You
Probably
gave them
4 or 5 wins.
Yeah, you gave them 5 wins. 5 wins. I gave them 3. That's where I was out with them.
We were back. We were wrong.
There are a few teams, right, where they've surprised everybody and we were bang on with them. So, like the Lions, we got the wins pretty close on like the Lions and teams like that. But fuck me, we were so wrong with the Seahawks.
I called the Vikings at 12-5, and I'm praying that they finish better than that. So
yeah,
we have a good shot at hitting what I said or exceeding. So let's go.
Yeah,
but I did put the Packers at 12-5. So
yeah. I had the Packers at like 9 wins.
You're going to be closer.
Yeah, I was like, fucking get in. Like, I was going through that and I was like, yes, that's good. And then we had the Bears at your division was, the NFC North was crazy.
I think I had the Bears probably at 5 wins too.
Yeah, you had the Bears at 4, and I had the Bears at 5 or 6. I can't quite remember, but so the Chiefs are an incredible team who systematically beat you now, rather than the worry about the Chiefs in previous years is, can they be this explosive? Can they just come out and play like backyard ball and just win like that? But now they don't have to do that because they just have this systematic way of breaking you down as it feels like they walk down the field with you. They like pick you up and walk you down the field, and there's just nothing that you can do about it. Kadarius Toney is a great addition for them, and he's gonna spark off more and more and more.
NVS, Juju, like they went out and they didn't go for the who said it? I don't know if you ever watched the movie Miracle on Ice with the 80 Olympic hockey team, but Brooks, the coach of that team, when he picks the team, Olympic committee comes to him and goes, "You don't even have the best guys." He said, "I'm not looking for the best guys. I'm looking for the right ones."
Yeah, that
was Andy Reid. I'm not looking for the best. I'm looking for the right ones.
Yeah, I love the way that they've put this team together, and like the fact that they've done that, and then they can. When you have Patrick Mahomes and people like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow at the other end of that Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins scale, where it's like you don't need the best guys. You can build your team and your system in this way because these guys will just fucking like take over if you need them to. Which I think it's disrespectful to say that Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins haven't taken over games and won them for their teams either, but not to like the same level as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So you are able to do that with wide receivers like this. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. Give me the 10. I feel like they're one of the only teams where those double point spreads make sense, where they regularly are able to.
But you know me, big point spreads. Yeah. I'm taking the dog, and so
I understand it goes against what I would usually do, but I think the Chiefs are one of the only teams that I feel safe in those double points spreads, just because of the way that they march it down the field right now, rather than like teams like Buffalo with like double point spreads. Like, yes, they could blow you up. They could blow you out by 30 quite easily, but also they could just play like shit. Like if Josh Allen has anything wrong with him, like their team just doesn't function quite as well. Whereas Patrick Mahomes can blow you out by 30 by being Patrick Mahomes and an absolute magician. Or if he's not really feeling it that day, he can just sit in the system and just pick you apart that way as well.
All right. So we're going to go on to the Baltimore Ravens, Atlanta Falcons, and Baltimore. Baltimore are favored by 6.5. I like that spread, actually. I don't think that's too crazy. I think Baltimore runs up and down the field with their running game. I think you see some screens, and I think you see Dobbins have a big game because they're not going to rely on Huntley to win the game for them. So I think that I'm going to take the Ravens minus the 6.5 in this one.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm going to take the Falcons to be within be within. I think it'll be a 3-point game. The way that Ravens offense is running, it's just not running. Like it just feels like it's not
I might be
operating right.
projecting because I really need Dobbins to pick up the slack this week for me in the playoffs. But
yeah, I just think that the Ravens, like, they're not defensively, they're amazing. Like their defense is absolutely unbelievable. One of the defenses that just isn't getting spoken about enough in terms of how well it's been put together. It looks great. And against the Falcons, against Desmond Ritter, like your defense is going to be fine. I do hope that the Falcons just eventually get to the point where they just are spraying the ball up in the air and just going fuck it and just like let Desmond Ritter throw like either 5 interceptions or 5 touchdowns. Just see what the fuck happens, you know? Like just launch that ball up in the air for Drake London and Kyle Pitts and just be like, okay, let's go for it.
I do remember there was a guy named Nathan Peterman who threw 5 interceptions and a half and never was right again.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't think Desmond Ritter is particularly right anyway. Like I don't think Desmond Ritter is like Desmond Ritter was on a team that won games. That's why he's a quarterback in the NFL, and it won games because it had guys like Sauce Gardner on it. You know, like there's something to be said about winning games, but at a certain level, no. Yeah. The Falcons, whereas the Ravens have a great defense, but they're just not running that offense very well. And so I can see it being within 3 points just because of neither of these teams really scoring. The under-over on this is 35.5. What do you think? Do you think both teams are going to score 15?
Yeah, over.
Over? 35
21-17.
All right. I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under on 35.5, which is fucking crazy, by the way. Like, just putting that out there. But, yeah, under on 35.5, just because neither of these teams can really score.
All right. Well, this next game really intrigues the shit out of me, and I'm excited to watch this game. It's the Commanders at the 49ers. The 49ers are 7-point favorites. I'm picking an upset. Commanders win this game. And I'm taking the under on the 37.5 points.
All right. Yeah,
definitely. The Commanders are in Purdy's face all day. All day the Commanders are in Purdy's face because they have that good of a rush with 4. They can drop. Yes, the running game will pick up some yards. Things like that will happen. There'll be first downs. But I think the Commanders do that bend, don't break, get in Purdy's face and hold the 49ers to a bunch of field goals.
Yeah, I think the Commanders will keep it within 7. I think the 49ers will probably just have enough to get it over the edge, especially in terms of coaching. I like what they've been doing at quarterback. It shows once again that this offensive system it shows once again the fucking pointlessness of moving up to get Trey Lance to start.
And it shows you exactly why Shanahan wanted Cousins before they traded for Jimmy G.
Yeah. Definitely. It sums up the pointlessness of going and getting Trey Lance, though, right? Like the fact that they can put anybody in there and it'll be fine. Desmond Ritter would be fine in this, like in this offense. Mac Jones in this offense would be wild. Like that would be so much fun.
My guess is, and this is just a guess, Shanahan was looking at what Lance could do with his legs, and he's like, if I can make him as Jimmy G with legs, how do they stop us?
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's what it is. That's just my thinking, though. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what it is as well. I think the board might have kind of come in and gone, hey, what about the star potential of this Trey Lance guy? But if it's about running, then you've got to take Justin Fields, right? But anyway.
Unless Shanahan, like me, doesn't believe you can fix his throwing at all.
Yeah, they just wouldn't have had to move up as far to get Justin Fields. They would have needed to get into the top 10.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have stuck with Jimmy G and tried to give him a $30 million a year contract because they went to the NFC Championship game twice with him.
Yeah, they all just use all that draft capital to draft everybody else's health and conditioning coaches, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be it. The Dallas Cowboys are very rarely injured. Just give all the draft capitals for the Dallas Cowboys health and conditioning team.
Call AJ Hawk. That dude missed a half a game or something in his whole career.
Yeah, just be like, hey, AJ, like we'll give you $100 million to tell us how to not get injured. That'd be
Like,
great.
fuck.
You know? But yeah, the 49ers are the way that their team runs is just juggernaut style, and their defense is terrifying, like so scary. So I don't feel comfortable in Taylor Heineke's brand of hero ball against the 49ers. But yeah, I'm definitely taking the
I
under on 37.5 in this one. But I'm
I
gonna say,
agree with you, but to play a little bit of devil's advocate, that's probably the only way they get big plays is Heineke out of the pocket making something happen.
yeah, 100%. And let's be real, Terry McLaurin might actually be a fucking superhero the way that he comes down
Oh.
with some of those balls, right?
They were shitting on him this year when he was talking about being traded, and I'm like, this dude can play. I don't know why people don't understand how good he is.
I didn't see it until this year. I don't know how I didn't see it until this year, but I think I was just looking at it and just was like, he doesn't have those physical attributes. Like he's not the quickest. Like his
And you
route
guys
running's
slap
not
them around
necessarily
every
the
time
best.
you play him.
Yeah. Terry McLaurin, like, yeah. I don't think Terry McLaurin's ever had a wild game against the Cowboys, though. Like, I think that might be it as well. And yeah, but now he's unbelievable. It's going to be close though. I'm not going to give the 49ers the 7 points. Like the Commanders are going to be within 7.
All right. Well, Maddie, we're gonna move on to a game that you'll probably have a little bit of talk about last week too. It's your Cowboys hosting the Eagles. Cowboys are 4.5 favorites. Does it put any more pressure on the Cowboys, do you think, that they're playing Gardner Minshew, so they should win this game?
The way that this Eagles offense runs, I don't know whether it makes too much. Like it doesn't make a massive difference. Gardner Minshew should have a starting position in the NFL. I still think. Like there are teams.
Now, not you, but I also hear people go, well, they only beat us because we had Cooper Rush playing. So
Yeah.
now if you beat the Eagles, now Eagles fans can go, well, they only beat us because Jalen Hurts wasn't playing.
Yeah, that's fine. Like you can say that. If we beat you, we fucking beat you. But
I agree.
Like it's the same with Cooper Rush. It's like, yeah, they beat us because Dak wasn't available. Like if you only beat us because Dak wasn't available, then you still beat us because Dak wasn't available. Like one of the greatest.
Well, I always love that
availability,
argument because you never know what would have happened if the other guy played.
Yeah. And the reason that we lost that game was not down to anything that the offense did. Like the Eagles defense is going to shut you down like almost no matter what. Like that Eagles defense is unbelievable in consistency in all parts of the field. So I don't know how much of a difference it would have really made. What was happening was they found the perfect way to play against Micah Parsons, and that won't happen again. So it won't. The way that they played Micah this at the early point this year, that will not happen again. There's no way that they're going to get it to that point. I think let's just make it really simple for Micah Parsons. Your job is to make Gardner Minshew as uncomfortable as possible. Don't worry about anything else. We'll fit. If you're able to make any other plays, then fine. But let's go make Gardner Minshew as uncomfortable as possible. See where we can get from there. Because this Eagles offensive line is fucking crazy. It is so good. That I'm not sure how much of a difference it really makes. I want to know what this point spread was before Gardner Minshew got injured.
Yeah, I don't know, but I will say that I'm taking the Cowboys minus the 4. I think the Cowboys win this game. They're at home. It's no shitting on Gardner Minshew, but you're not Jalen Hurts. Like you're not breaking the pocket. Yeah. Dudes aren't bouncing off your thighs because you squat so much weight. Jalen's been balling. Me and you were very interested to see what happened with Jalen coming out of college. Now I know you weren't happy he went to the Eagles, but we were both like, we both had this agreement though he could be something or he could just fade away. And he's balling. Jalen's balling, but
we said he was a huge playmaker.
If he misses the rest of the season and then they have a bye, that's a long time for a quarterback to sit on the bench. And Ndamukong Suh has proven he's still a scumbag with that head slap.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh is 100% a scumbag. He suits being a Philadelphia Eagle. I can't believe he hasn't been a Philadelphia Eagle for longer. You know? in terms of how the organization and the thing
Eagles
is,
fan,
right,
Maddie's opinions don't reflect everybody on the channel.
it's
I'm
not,
just
but
kidding.
I just don't think it's that offensive to Eagles fans to say that because I think they kind of like it.
No, I get it. Hitman
Like,
would be like, hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, we're scumbags. Yeah, we don't play the game in the way that the game should be played at all. Sorry, that was me.
That
just
head
projecting
slap,
onto the
though, I was
Eagles.
just like, really? Like, I thought maybe you matured, bro.
No, but for the Bucks, he didn't do any of that shit. Like maybe it's just like he's got into an organization. He was in the Lions where it was like, yeah, tough black and blue football, and now he's with the Eagles where it's like we're the biggest fucking scumbags in the league, and we're going to go win it. Like everybody hates us. Make sure they have a reason to continue to hate us. Like an Ndamukong Suh might embody that fucking shit. But yeah, last week we should have won that game. Like last the Jags played. That was probably the best that Trevor Lawrence has played since he came into the NFL. The Jags played some great football. Everybody saying that it was Dak Prescott's fault that lost is fucking crazy. Like there's no like the
know
defense
me,
gave
I
up
will
40
fucking
points.
pile on Dak if I get a chance. I will back the dump truck up on him. I will, like, that was not on Dak. That fucking game was not on Dak.
The defense gave up 500 offensive, like 500 yards. We're going at 7.2 yards a carry, not a carry, just a play against them. And they gave up 40 points. And Dak was driving down the field to win the game when Noah Brown, who's been great all year, I don't want to shit on Noah Brown too much.
I ain't blaming it on him
Arms the
either.
ball in the air.
It wasn't the easiest catch.
Yeah.
But that interception, I don't think it's on either of them. It's just something that happened, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, definitely. So
it's football.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys come back angry. I think the fact that Gardner Minshew can't move out the pocket, the way that they beat Micah Parsons is by Jalen Hurts just not spending any time in the pocket whatsoever. Kelvin Joseph should lose his job. He's the worst cornerback in the NFL. Like I'm convinced he's horrendous. So Dan Campbell has come out and said that his job is on the line. When you're the second round pick in the NFL, not the second round pick in the NFL. When you're the second round pick for the Dallas Cowboys and Anthony Brown is out, like we're now down to third and fourth string guys at cornerback, and you can't lay down the claim to that job, like you're shit. Like you're awful. And I think he's only awful because of how much I like Asante Samuel coming out, and we took him over Asante Samuel. But he is bad, like so bad. So Trayvon Diggs, follow AJ Brown, and then let's just hope that Devontae Smith doesn't just fucking tear us apart. Let's just see what happens there. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Cowboys in this one. I'm gonna take them to cover the spread.
Yep,
Christmas Eve miracle. And it's because they can tee off on Gardner Minshew and hopefully just keep him in the pocket.
All right, on to the shit bowl. I mean the Steelers versus the Raiders in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 2.5-point favorites. Give me the Raiders just because I think they have a more talented team, but I don't know what's up with either of these teams week to week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders in this one as well. The Raiders have way more talent. The Steelers when they move the ball, it just doesn't look right. The way that
Raiders are going to be good next year with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. That I don't even know whether it is Derek Carr that's the problem. I have no idea. But when you add Aaron Rodgers in over Derek Carr, then you are going to be loads better anyway. Derek Carr, another one of those guys where he should be a 49er, right? Like the 49ers should just have about 7 quarterbacks by the looks of it. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Raiders in this one. They're way more talented. The Steelers, when they move the ball down the field, it doesn't look right. Just doesn't sit well with me. Watching their offense is painful, like physically awful. And their defense is not what a Steelers defense should be. Like a Mike Tomlin defense, it shouldn't be that. So the Steelers are another one of those teams where they have wide receivers who are just absolute fucking freaks. So just launch that ball in the air and just see what happens. But they don't do that.
No, and then here's another rumor I read this morning that Tampa Bay is interested in trading for Derek Carr in the offseason.
Makes sense. Be a good move. Would be a great move for them.
And then what if Brady signs?
Brady goes the other way. Brady becomes a Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying.
I'm pretty sure that you remember the story of when they Brady said, "You're going to stick with that fucking guy."
Yeah.
Instead of him, I'm pretty sure it was Derek Carr.
No, Ryan Fitzpatrick is convinced that it was him.
Brady came out and said it was not Ryan Fitzpatrick on the shop. He said it wasn't. Okay. And I think Brady wouldn't have lied. I think I think it's Derek Carr.
Laughed. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Derek Carr. I think it's the guy he said, you're going to stick with that fucking guy. Okay.
Yeah, not Jimmy G, not the 49ers.
I think Brady likes Jimmy G. People try to make something that it's not, but Jimmy G and Brady both said they had a great relationship.
Yeah, I can totally see that. They're very similar
they probably
guys
still
as well.
Like text each other and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey man, how's the injury? Like that's how it always starts. Like,
oh shit, Maddie, you're full of them. You're dropping machine guns on people today.
Yeah, it's fucking like it's the jet lag. It's midnight here right now, but for me, that means it's 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's weird. Because how long were you there?
6 weeks.
And then not too long from now, you go South America?
Colombia, which is the other fucking way round, right? Like, we come on your time, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's it. Is that South or Central America? No, that's South America,
South,
right?
South,
yeah,
South.
So yeah, the Raiders, Steelers. I don't know. Neither of these two teams make sense to me, so I'm just taking the Raiders because I think they got way more talent. But you never know.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
Is getting dumped on today too with this storm, so I wonder how their weather will be.
Yeah, I think that might help them like a lot.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Steelers are one of those things. You look at their wide receiver room and you're like, why the fuck is your offense so bad? Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Matt Canada, let the guys play. Like, just let the guys fucking play.
Well, let's talk about the game that has the most disrespectful point spread of the week.
Yeah, right.
The Packers at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are only favored by 3.5. The Dolphins win this by 10 or more.
Yeah, it's this whole thing that the Packers are like, we're still alive. Like, we can make this.
They are, and Rodgers is still great, but it doesn't change the fact that the rest of your team is ass.
Yeah, and it's like
Watson can play. Don't get me wrong; they got running backs,
and
their
Dobbs.
defense is not what they were supposed to be this year.
Yeah, have you seen Romeo Dobbs has been getting a lot of love?
Go back and watch that shit.
Yep.
I said Romeo Dobbs when the Packers drafted him is going to be a fucking player.
It's another guy. Like, it's another one. It's another example of we actually do sometimes know what the fuck we're talking about. Which is crazy.
Also said Christian Watson was my second favorite receiver coming out of the draft.
Yeah, you were vexed when the Vikings traded out, so that you were
like I didn't care about the trade with the Lions. Like everybody's like, that was in the first round. It was like I don't care. I don't care. We got the safety we wanted. Granted, he got hurt, but that's not his fault. But it was the Packers trade that pissed me off the most because it was the guy I wanted, and you gave him to the fucking Packers.
Christian Watson might be the only guy that manages to keep Rodgers in Green Bay.
Could you imagine the Vikings fucking receiving core if they would have drafted Watson like I wanted? Holy fuck. Who do you double cover? The guy who's taking the top off in Watson or JJ who can make every catch, and then Thielen and Osborne? Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that would have been scary. But yeah.
No, that's my new Asante Samuels, Maddie. What you are doing with Asante Samuels is what I'm going to do with Watson.
Yeah.
All right.
Asante Samuels changed his life as a Cowboy.
I think it's disrespectful.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It's the Dolphins at home as well. The Packers are going to go through probably like what temperature is it in Green Bay right now?
Tomorrow morning through Saturday at 6 a.m., it will be -13 to -30.
Right, okay. So what's the temperature?
It's supposed to be 75 to 80 in Miami the day of the game.
So that's a pretty fucking crazy temperature change to go through. And trust me, temperature changes are wild. I've just gone through Could be 110 fucking degree difference. Yeah, I've just gone through 20 Celsius degree difference, and it is weird, like coming off and like that happening.
And that
That
sun's going to
happening
be
to you.
beating on them on the sideline, so it
Yeah,
probably be
exactly.
90 over there.
Exactly. The Packers fans might want to like pack some freezers with some snowballs in there just to like rectify that. But yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover the spread in this one. I don't see it being too close.
Tua's
The
not
Packers,
getting any love either, man. Like, why
yeah,
are they not giving Tua some love? Tua's been balling.
yeah, the Packers are buzzed because they just beat the Rams, and it's like if you don't beat the Rams at this point, it means your defensive line is the most ass.
Rogers did
defensive
say
line
that
is.
on McAfee, though. He goes, "You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat."
Yeah, it's like it's crazy to me. But yeah, the Dolphins are going to win this one. They play great football. I love the way that their teams are. The Packers defense is the most overrated defense in the league. I just don't get it. And the Dolphins offense, although has been slowed down recently, is still one of the best offenses schematically in the league. Like they just seem to have guys Alabama open like a lot of the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fucking cover that Miami offense either. They're running the ball great. They're throwing the ball great. They got two monster receivers, a monster running back, two is balling. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you cover that team if your defense has been playing as bad as the Packers.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, it would be put Zaire Alexander somewhere to do that, but he's not been playing great football either. So
no, and that doesn't help. Like, he is one of the top corners, but you're on such a bad defense that they're not getting any pressure, so you have to cover for 7 seconds.
Yeah, good luck covering Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle for anything over 4 seconds. You know.
Yeah, look at the best corners in the league, though, and how their stats drop off after 3.5 seconds of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, the pass rush is supposed to get there. Them two things are supposed to be married, the pass rush and the coverage. And the Vikings have had that at times where we can't get to the quarterback. So it's just like kills you, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't see how this is going to be. I don't see how this is going to be that close. Give me the Dolphins.
You can't double all of their weapons.
You can't really double any of their weapons. That's the irritating thing, right? Like they have so many weapons.
Well, yeah, and then with Tyreek Hill, if you double him east and west, then he's just going to run north. If you cover him over the top, then he's just going to run east or west.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jalen Waddle will just body a man as well. Like, that's the thing. Like, double coverage Jalen Waddle, all right, I'll just throw it 7 feet in the air and he'll just go and get it and just body you, like, out of nowhere as well. Like, I don't know how the Dolphins don't have more wins, and I think it can only be down to his injury and just getting used to the new coach and the new systems and putting everything together, just like sewing it all together. Plus, the Dolphins are still a dysfunctional organization even when they're playing well, so that's not going to help them either.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the last game or was it?
Well, that's it, isn't it?
We went into a Sunday game. We jumped over. We were already done. I jumped us into the Packers Dolphins on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. I was sat thinking, but you know, it's all good. Let's stop there though, because nobody wants us to say anything about the Broncos Rams.
We could have been done probably 10 minutes ago because I jumped the gun and kept going.
Yeah, nobody wants us to talk about the Broncos or the Rams, so let's just leave that there. That's a game that nobody wants to hear anything about.
This weekend football, though, this is when shit starts to get exciting.
It's a good weekend of football.
Does your team make the playoffs these next few weeks? Does your team get the seeding they wanted? Can you play spoiler to somebody in your division because you're not in the playoffs, but fuck them, I'm not letting them get in the playoffs?
Yeah,
this is a fun time of football, man.
Yeah, I'm happy that the Cowboys have clinched already. Like, I'm pretty excited about that. That makes me a lot more chilled out.
I really want this 2 seed though. Like, I'm glad the Vikings won the division. I'm glad that they got the shirts and the caps and they had that all shit. But I really want that 2 seed because of seeding implications on who you have to play. And if somebody can do us a favor and we can win, and somebody can do us a favor and knock the Eagles out, you get an NFC championship game at home.
Yeah. I'm desperate for the 5 seed. I am desperate for it because then you play the NFC South winner as your first game.
Oh, I want you to have the 5 seed, but you guys I think you need one more win to lock that up.
Yeah. Are we not even on wins with the 49ers?
Oh, no, but you got to win the division.
Oh, no, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 49ers are going to win their division.
Yeah,
Obviously.
no, it's all right, dude. It's hard to keep this season.
Yeah, I was like, what? Okay. Yeah, because the Seahawks were at the top of that division for like a while to start the year. But anyway.
Yeah, and then if everything stays the same, you guys will play whoever wins the South, and the Vikings will play whoever is the last team, the 7th team into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then you get a nice matchup, and then hopefully you have a nice matchup for the 49ers as well, where somebody might knock off but it's like it feels like the other team in the NFC, it's like either the Detroit Lions or the other team in the NFC East are going to be the ones who are playing the 49ers. So
I am so convinced it's not the Lions, but maybe I'm just being a hater. But there is 0% chance in my brain that the Lions. So if I'm not mistaken, the Lions schedule, who did they just play this week? Do you remember?
They had
no, who do they have coming up?
All right, okay. They are about to play against the Panthers, yeah.
Then they have to play the Vikings, not the Vikings. They have to play the Packers, the fucking Bears, and then somebody else. You have to play 2 divisional round games.
Yeah. The Lions always played. It was the only time that the Lions ever played well was in divisional games. And now they're playing well in other games too. But yeah, I think the playoff.
It's hard to ask a team to win out when the last 2 games that the NFL now sets up are divisional games.
Yeah, definitely. And the NFC playoff picture is a lot of fun as well. A lot of moving parts. The AFC playoff picture is a bit like, yeah, there's the Chiefs, there's the Bills, and there's the Bengals, and then there's everybody else a mile off.
Is it crazy? There's only 3 games left.
Yeah, it's pretty. It is mental, right?
It went by so fast this year.
Yeah, I noticed in our fantasy football league, I was like, holy shit, there's only we're in the semifinals of the playoffs now. Like that means that the
2 weeks, that's it. This week and next week, and it's over.
I was like, the season's nearly over. This is absolutely insane. But yeah, exciting things. The real season for both of our teams starts in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, in the tournament.
I'm not like bothered about like the regular season. I think the Cowboys have outperformed where I thought they were going to be this year at the start of the year, and the Vikings have definitely outperformed where
I don't remember. I think I picked the Eagles to win the division, but I don't remember.
I picked the Eagles to win the division. You said the Cowboys weren't going to win, but only because you were like I can see the Eagles winning. Like the Eagles probably should win.
Okay, and then I picked the Cowboys. That makes sense.
You said the Cowboys because of previous history,
and I think I said that Zeke was going to be back this year full speed, and he's kinda.
Yeah, this is Zeke's full speed.
No, but I thought Zeke was coming back to form, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think Zeke would if Tony Pollard wasn't playing. The thing that makes Zeke look bad is Tony Pollard playing so well. So Cowboys fans don't seem to understand that you don't want Tony Pollard in a 3rd and 1. Like if Tony Pollard's running your 3rd and 1, I'm just like, why? Let's just have Zeke. Just put Zeke out there. You know, and Zeke ran for 56 yards in the last game. He's run for over 100 quite a few times this year. I like both of our teams going into the playoffs, man. Then they've had good seasons. It's been a good year.
I hope for us, this is what we're both saying come Sunday.
Yeah, fuck me.
I hope that's what we're saying.
It'll be nice for you to have you supporting the Cowboys for once. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I don't always cheer against them, but if it benefits my fucking Vikings, I will definitely cheer against them.
I always cheer for the Vikings just because I want to see the Packers get knocked off at every opportunity.
At this point, though, no matter what the Cowboys do, it doesn't really affect the Vikings seeding or anything like that. So we can ride with you.
Well, if they beat the Eagles, then that.
Well, you can help us, but I'm saying there's nothing you're going to do that'll hurt us, so I don't have to cheer against.
All right, okay. Yeah.
I don't have to cheer against. There's been a couple times in my life I cheered for the Packers because it helped the Vikings, as odd as that was.
Yeah. I can never bring myself. I honestly,
So if the Eagles were playing a game and they had to win for you to make the playoffs, you wouldn't cheer for the Eagles.
I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch that game.
Really?
I'd go out. I'd go out. I'd want them
my
to win.
love is bigger than my hate. Like
I'd want them to win, but I can't physically cheer for the Giants and the Commanders maybe, but I can't physically cheer for the Eagles. Like that's just too much. Like I have no players from the Eagles, the Commanders, or the Giants in my fantasy team just because I can't I can't cheer them on.
I got AJ Dillon.
Difficult. Yeah, I can't. I honestly can't take them.
I don't have any players from the Bears or the Lions because there's nobody on their teams that are worth taking in if you didn't pick up St. Brown or Swift in the draft. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamal Williams is a fantasy beast. Just putting that out there for everybody.
But I'm just saying you ain't going to pick up a free agent guy on those teams that are worth
especially
anything.
not in a 14-person league either. Yeah.
No, it's difficult to maneuver, isn't it?
Yeah. In the draft, I was like, I could take this Eagles guy and I could take this Commanders guy and I could take this Giants guy, or I could not hate myself. That's the way that I kind of went.
You feel dirty after the draft.
I was like, it's just like cheering for AJ Brown just would not have ever sat well with me. Like, I was like, do you know what? Jalen Hurts is probably going to get the most fantasy points as a quarterback, and he's sitting right there. But can I cheer on Jalen Hurts week in, week out?
I don't usually play in my fantasy any player who's playing against the Vikings.
Yeah,
I don't start them usually.
All right, that's good.
It's because it's hard to cheer. Now, if it was Lamar or something, I would have to. You know what I mean? But or Stephon Diggs because I need those points. But
you're not subbing anyone in.
I'm switching somebody out because I can't cheer for that guy to have a big game.
You're not subbing somebody in to play just because they're playing against the Vikings. Yeah, I get what you mean. There's got to be
how do you put in a defense to play against your team?
Yeah, I think if there was money on the line would be the only time where I'd be like, right, okay, let's.
I'm also a guy who refuses to bet on the Vikings games, though. I don't gamble on any Vikings games.
I don't gamble because I'm too stingy with money. So I always feel bad.
Betting on your team is a bad idea because you're too close.
Yeah, always. All
right, man. Well, you go get some sleep and recover from your jet lag and everything you got going on, man. But welcome back to the UK, even though I'm not there.
Yeah, welcome back to somewhere close to the time zone where we're able to do these shows where I'm not like half asleep while we're doing it.
Well, then you were working like a gazillion hours on top of trying to make the weird times.
Yeah, but playoffs, I'm going to be 2 hours ahead, which is going to be weird. I'm going to be ahead of you for the first time ever.
And here's a cool thing that nobody seemed to realize today. You didn't end up in a Thai prison for smuggling drugs.
There you go. See? That's where it's at.
It's a fucking win.
They didn't catch me either. It's not that I wasn't smuggling.
Somebody's on the watch list, the fly watch list now.
Shit. I'm never allowed
if you want a good article, there was a guy who just had an explosive device removed from his rectum that was there since World War II.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll look it up.
All right, man. Well, I'll leave you guys on that. Thanks for watching. Oh, anybody who checks this out tonight in 2.5 hours about the Markout podcast is back with Mustache and Besito Zed from Street Beef's West Coast.
Great. That's going to be exciting. Watching Mustache is so funny.
One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.